Welcome to FCPS All-Stars. Our guest today is Diane Herndon, Instructor of Agriculture and Career and Technology Education at the Career and Technology Center. Welcome. Whew, that was a mouthful.
It sure is. Teach a lot of different programs at the Career and Technology Center.
Yeah, and that's not all you teach, right?
No, yeah, landscaping and the Advanced Soil Design program, and new last year was the dual enrollment ag business programs.
Now, I'd like to play a game with you. We don't often do that on the show. The game I'd like to play is called Two Truths, One Lie. Have you played that before?
I have.
Okay, so I'm going to give the audience two truths and one untruth about you, and let's see if they're able to figure out which is the truth and which is not.
All right,
Are you
let's
ready?
see. Yep.
Number one, you met your husband at the Career and Technology Center. Number two, you wrote an essay and won a real life horse. Number three, your favorite color is orange. Ready?
I'm ready.
So number one, did you meet your husband at the CTC?
I did meet my husband at the Career and Technology Center way back in 1997. I was a student in the landscaping program and he was a student in the electricity program. And we kind of went our separate ways after graduation, and then about 10 years ago he was wiring my brother's house when he was building a new house, and our paths crossed again, and we've been married for almost 5 years now.
Number one is true.
Number one is true.
Okay. What's your favorite color?
Blue. Definitely blue. I think I dressed my favorite
You
color
did.
today. And
So orange is not the new blue?
when I look in my closet, there is no orange.
Okay. So that leaves us to our truth, which is you wrote an essay and won a horse.
I want a horse.
Please tell.
As a second-year 4-H member, there was an essay contest in the county 4-H program, and it was if you wrote an essay and you were the winner, you won a real live horse. And so I wrote an essay and I won that horse in the year, probably about 1991, I won the horse.
So I'm thinking about this as you're telling me. I remember years ago, my kids won goldfish at the fair. Totally stressed me out. I had to go buy a new aquarium and a little bubble maker and the food and the plants, and the things died a week later. How in the world did your parents react when you go, Mom, Dad, guess what I won?
Well, I had their blessing to write the essay from the start, so I think that helped a little bit.
Okay.
And when my mom was younger, she was a 4-H member, and she had horses as part of her projects.
Okay.
And when she got married, she had to sell her horses because when my parents got married, they didn't have a place to keep them, so she had to sell them. And the agreement was, at some point in time, she would get to have her horses again. And I think I was kind of the pivotal stepping point where she got to have her horse again if I was able to win this horse. And I think my dad kind of, write the essay. You're not going to win a horse writing an essay. And then I did, and we went and picked him up and brought him home, and we were fortunate that we lived on a small farmstead of about 20 acres, so
Okay.
we already had a place where we had other livestock animals, so it wasn't a big burden to add a horse to the mix.
Gotcha. Well, that's neat. What was your horse's name?
My horse's name is Max, and I had Max up until about 4 years ago when he passed away.
Wow.
And so he lived a nice long life. And when I went off to college, Mom and Dad took care of him for me, and he lived the rest of his life up there on their farm.
I'm so very glad your horse lived a lot longer than our goldfish.
Me too.
Well, this may be before your time, but back in 1976, there was a song called Dancing Queen, Young and Sweet, 17. Have you heard that song?
I've heard it a time or two.
You know, and there was a place called Dairy Queen that for a number of years I kept in business with my kids because we went there regularly. I understand that you were a different kind of queen.
I was. Back in that same year I met my husband, I was a farm queen.
Queen.
I was the Frederick County farm queen, and as part of my responsibilities, I had to advocate and teach the general public about agriculture and its importance to Frederick County.
Okay.
And then later on in my year, I ran for the state farm queen, didn't get to be state farm queen, but met a lot of wonderful young ladies from around the state who were also passionate about agriculture and educating the community in general about the importance and the role of agriculture in everyday life.
When did your love of agriculture begin for you?
Well, I think part of it, my mom growing up in on her farm, and she had livestock projects and having her horse, and she was raised on a family sheep farm where they raised Suffolk sheep. And then I had a great aunt who didn't have any children of her own, and I would typically spend the summers with her. And she had a small orchard and greenhouse at her house, and just kind of doing those things with her and learning to can and make my own pies. And then from there, learning how to care for different things. I also, transitioning from middle school to high school, I worked for a lady who lived down the street who had a cut flower garden, and she raised flowers, and then in the summer we'd harvest them, hang them up in her garage and dry them, and then we'd then turn those dried flowers into sellable products for the farmers market. Transitioning again as a high school student, I took horticulture at Frederick High and kind of found out there were other avenues, and so I started working at Stadler Garden Center, which happened to be about a mile down the road from where I lived, and so it was really convenient as an after-school job, working in the garden center and helping customers determine what kind of plants were best for their house, and kind of sharing my love of plants with others and being able to share my expertise.
Does your husband share your same passion for agriculture and outdoors?
He is learning as we go. He's kind of been indoctrinated into the whole agriculture and FFA aspect. He supports me 100%, and he has been, he's come out to school and he's fabricated a rack to hold all of the equipment at school, and I actually tweeted about him and hashtag my handy husband. And so he's just been super duper supportive of everything we do in FFA, and he knows that the agriculture component is super important to myself and my family, and we've decided that we want our children to grow up and have those same 4-H and FFA experiences that I did when I grew up.
That's neat.
Because it was so instrumental in shaping who I am.
How do you think your life experiences help you in the classroom when you relate to other students?
I think it gives me the ability to say that I've walked the walk and not just talk the talk, and so I can draw from those past experiences and share with my students that, there are more things, more opportunities for them than what people traditionally think of when they think of landscaping or when they think of floral design. There are other avenues and specialty areas for them, and so I think that's a great resource for me to have for them.
And you can also encourage them in their writing skills, because you write a killer persuasive essay. We may need to chat after the show.
We sure can.
All right, Diane. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
You are quite welcome. Thank you for having me.
And thank you too. We look forward to the next episode, and in the meantime, shine on.